Okay. Alan, first things first, can we get some reaction to the cup draw, Arbroath at home? Your thoughts on that?
Well, I've said all along, I'll be delighted if we got a home tie. So the fact that we've got that, first and foremost, I'm delighted. You know, when I've seen that we were plucked out against Arbroath, you know, people will look at it as a good draw for us, but it's only a good draw if we go through. So I said all along, our approach to the game will be no different as if we were approaching Celtic. You know, it'll be thorough, it'll be in depth. We'll have them watched, you know, at least, well, as many times as we can from now to the tie itself. So, you know, we won't underestimate them whatsoever. You know, they're doing really well in their division at this moment in time. You know, sitting at the top of the league. You know, and if they look at this moment in time like they're going to be coming up. So, you know, it's going to be a really tough game, and we'll give them the respect that they deserve.
To what extent, Alan, do you believe that the fact that we are in the Scottish Championship and we've had to go to perhaps some less than fashionable ground so far this season means that our mindset is spot on? There won't be any room for complacency when we come up against teams from the lower divisions?
Well, to be honest, Andrew, no matter what ground you go to, that should never be used as an excuse for complacency. Sorry about that. You know, but we won't, and we won't allow ourselves to be complacent, because as soon as you start to get into that frame of mind, then you run the risk of not getting the results that you want. And that's the one thing that we've been striving to succeed in here, is that the mindset that we approach every game, first and foremost, is to win. You know, that's a given. But secondly, is that we don't underestimate anyone that we're playing against, and we're starting to get better at that. We're definitely not the finished article, but we're making positive inroads into that.
Obviously, we've been handed a home tie, but the next fixture is another away one against the only team that we've lost to at home so far this season. So it's an opportunity to try and put things right against Falkirk.
Well, it's always, you know, I think when you've been beaten by someone, it can be very easy to get lured into the false sense of, you know, we want revenge. It's nothing to do with that. Saturday's game is completely different circumstances. We'll go there to win the game. You know, when we played at home against Falkirk, you know, it was, you know, you only have to look at Peter coming after the game, and he was more or less apologetic because it was completely one-way traffic. You know, and then they've gone completely against their own play, and they've scored and they've won the game 1-0. But you know, on the day, no one would have argued if the game would have been 4-5, 6-0. You know, so we're under no illusions. That was then. You know, I honestly think we're in a completely different place, mindset from then on, from that time. And Falkirk is going to be a real test on Saturday. They're a good team. They pass the ball well. They've got some dangerous players. So it's going to be another test for us.
Alan, we head into this match without Dominique Malonga, who's about to serve one of a two-match ban, the other game being the Scottish Cup tie against Arbroath. Just for the benefit of our viewers, would he have actually been available for that game against Arbroath because of the African Cup of Nations finals? Because I believe it is at roughly around the same time.
It's a good question, and one that I can honestly say I don't know the answer to just yet. We will explore the circumstances and see whether there's any mileage in it. But where we are at this moment in time, we're looking at Dominic missing a league game and a cup game. In my mind, it will be the next round of the Scottish Cup. If that changes from now to then fantastic. But until someone tells me otherwise, then that's what I'll be looking at.
Obviously, without Malonga up front, how are you going to solve that problem?
other players come into the team and stake a claim. You know, we've got players who haven't been in the team recently, who have been chomping at the bit, and I've got to say their attitude to that has been fantastic. Normally, sometimes you can get one or two that can feel a bit sorry for themselves, can be a bit down, but I haven't seen that at all. What I have seen, I've seen a real hunger and a desire to train as well as possible, and to give me a problem and give me a headache for team selection on a Saturday, which is all I can ask for.
Our away form has been incredibly impressive. We've probably got one of the best away records in the British Isles right now. You must be proud of the progress that's been made on that front.
Well, I'm happy. You know, I'm a very hard person to please at times, in a good way. You know, but we're only, you know, I'd say just over a third of the way through the season. We've got another two thirds to go, and I'd like you to be saying the same thing to me at the end of the season, and I'll turn around and go, yeah, fantastic. You know, so we've got a long way to go. I'm very happy with the way our away form is. I'd like that to now start to drip into our home form and put it all together. So, you know, that's the aim. You know, I want us to be. I said I wanted us to be hard to beat. I wanted us to really look to try and win every game we can. I feel as if we've done that. We haven't necessarily got the rewards at times, but recently we have been in a good vein of form, and a long way to continue.
To what extent do you feel that going away from home sometimes suits us? Because when we're at Easter Road, a lot of visiting teams do tend to park the bus, get lots of bodies behind the ball, defend in numbers. When we're going away from home, the games are a bit more open. Do you feel that helps us?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily that easy to try and describe between the two. I think when we're at home, obviously the onus is on us to go and win the game. It's the same when we're away from home. The onus is on us to go and win the game. But I think what you find is that when we're at home, teams do tend to come, and a good result for them is a point. When we go away from home, the onus is on them as the home team to try and do something, and that's why they have to take risks, they have to take chances. You know, I think a lot of teams, if they were just to camp in at home, they would get a lot of criticism from their home fans. So because of that, there's a willingness from them to be a little bit more open and try and be a bit more positive. And that's where what we found is that as soon as they do that, because of our ability and within the team, we find it sometimes easier to create chances. You know, whereas at home, and I'll say it now, and I've said it, you know, even at the beginning of the season, when someone puts 10 men behind the ball, it's very difficult to break down. And sometimes you may only have 2, 3 or 4 chances, and you have to take one of them. From our point of view, when teams have done that, we've had sometimes 6 to 10 chances. You know, so we're not far away, you know, from the home form. And we now at home, we just need to be better, and maybe sometimes a little bit more patient. That we can't always go up to the end of the pitch and score at every attack. You know, we've got to wait for that one moment, and when that one moment arrives, we've got to make sure that we've got that killer instinct, and that sometimes is the difference.
Finally, Alan, can we have a word about the supporters? We took 1,800 to Alloa at the weekend. There was only a crowd of 2,100, which again just underlines how much the fans are backing the team right now. How appreciative are you of that?
Well, it's vital. It's you know, there's the old saying as the 12th man, but since the day I've walked in to now, the fans have been fantastic. You know, there's never been a problem. with them whatsoever. You know, I said all along, even from when I first came here, that the fans have got to earn, the players have got to earn the fans' trust again. And slowly but surely, you know, they're starting to do that. You know, what happened in previous season won't just evaporate overnight. You know, so it's important that the players earn the trust of the fans and really give them something to think about and be proud of again. And we feel at this moment in time that we're just starting to maybe give them something to talk about again and give them a little spring in the step again. And ultimately, you know, we want them to be proud of the team again and really, you know, turn up in the thousands and support the team like they do every week. But we know that we're making steps in the right direction, and I think the fans are very appreciative of that.